as I reflect back on my father's death, and you start thinking a lot more about things. You know, a lot of times we live in that moment, we live instantly. We make plans for our future, but all of a sudden when things change, the death in your family, you wonder, you know, now what's going on? My dad was a building contractor, built a lot of homes, and very, very busy man. And when we got time to go, we went up north to the cabin in northern Minnesota, right next to the Canadian border, or we were hunting somewhere, pheasant hunting, deer hunting, hunting something. As the years have gone by, you know, Dad started slowing down and finally went to the doctor. His unique ability was that he had extremely high threshold for pain. And if something was hurting, he either didn't tell you or he didn't even know it because he could tolerate a lot of pain. He was diagnosed with cancer, and that slowed things down quite a bit. And he ended up, as it weakened him, and it wasn't they weren't able to do surgery on him. And as it weakened him, you know, he really wanted to do one thing as he got towards the end, and that was go back to the cabin and go fishing, which was a huge passion of his. And as spring came in the spring of 2010, opening day of walleye was March 15th. And he said a couple weeks before, he said, I don't think I can go. And he just was too weak. We were going to the cabin my dad built, and he built it. He brought his construction crew up there. He built this gorgeous cabin in 6 days from top to bottom. And it was, it's an outstanding cabin then, it's an outstanding cabin today. And he wanted to go fishing. That was his last deal he wanted to do. And he couldn't go. And my mother had said, and Dad had said, you go fishing. Take the guys and go fishing, and you know, that's gonna be the way it is. So a couple days before we were gonna go, Dad was weak enough and had to go into extended care. And so we took off and went fishing and got up there a day ahead of time and got things opened up. And the next morning I got up real early, I usually do, and I got up a little after 5 and made some coffee, and it was a spectacular morning. And I walked out on the deck and the lake was just still, and everybody knows that feeling. You look at the water and the steam is coming off the water and the loons were whistling, and it was just a glorious morning. And I was standing there, and a little bit before 6 o'clock, a bald eagle flew in and landed on the dock and turned around and looked right at me and just stared, and I hadn't moved. I was standing there as part of the furniture practically, and I thought, well, that's pretty unusual. That eagle is so focused on me, and it sat there for 5 minutes and just stared at me, and I didn't move. And all of a sudden that eagle took off, and as it launched off the dock, it dropped a feather on the dock, and it flew right at me underneath the canopy of the trees. And I'm standing on the deck kind of getting a little nervous, thinking, you know, what's this all about? And it flew right at me, and at the last second it lifted its wings and flew right over me, and it tipped its head down and looked at me. And I thought, well, isn't that something? That was really unique. That was, I mean, here I am, it's real early in the morning, nobody's up, and I'm looking at this eagle, and it's like we had this connection. And it wasn't 30 seconds later, and my mother calls, and I answer the phone, and she said, your dad just passed away. And I said, he was here. He was here.